The quality of your college experience depends on the study group that you're in. I'm Rahul. I'm a PhD student. Quite frankly, I've been in school my whole life. But much of my success in both undergrad and graduate school has been from having the most amazing, supportive study groups to get me through the struggles. I was actually inspired to make this video because I'm coming back from a prospective student event for PhD students. This is a topic that came up a lot. How do you find the right friend group and the right study group? Ultimately, those two things cross over, especially in grad school when much of your life revolves around your research and your school. Often your study group is your main friend group. So the key thing to do is to find the right group members. You'll notice that in high school, college, and grad school, there's one truth that remains constant, and it's that people are very cliquey. People love to form their little cliques, and it's honestly like a very fundamental human instinct to form a tribe that you're a part of. And people tend to do that incredibly fast. And many times people end up forming their cliques or tribes with the first people that they end up talking to in whatever new environment that they're in. However, that might not be what's right for you. Talk to as many people as you can, as fast as you can, because by the time all these cliques are formed, it's going to be so difficult to either join a study group or form a study group, because you're just going to be left with all of the people who weren't able to join any of the other study groups. So you have to move fast. Whatever program you're in, whether it's undergrad or grad school, at these first few events, you really need to move quick and talk to as many people as possible just to get to know people. If you're an introverted person like I can be, sometimes you just gotta fake it till you make it. That's what works for me. Just put on a smile and just talk to people. And you can leave early. Just make sure you get to know who everyone is. And what this will allow you to do is to find who in your program has similar goals to you, because ultimately those are the people who you are going to get along with. Are you the type of person who likes to go out and party a lot? You'll find the other people who like to go out and party a lot. If you're the type of person who's like laser focused on academics and wants to do nothing else, then you'll find those people. But you won't find them unless you talk to people. So that's the first key. What ended up working for me in college was I didn't have the mindset of looking for a study group. Many people often go into these environments looking for a study group. I actually think this is the wrong way to look at it. I went into this looking for friends. I only wanted to be in groups with people that I thought would be good friends. And I was very confident in my ability to do well academically. So I did not feel the need to try to find group members who could do the work for me. I wasn't a leech. And because of that, I found people that I just had a really good vibe with. And honestly, it makes such a big difference, because you're not having this transactional relationship where you just one person's doing the work and the other person's leeching off of them. You're never going to be friends with them. It's not a sustainable relationship, and nobody's happy. So the mindset is to look for friends, not for people to join your study group. It's just a mindset thing. Ultimately, they will be your study group, but ideally they're your friends too. Keep your study group small. I see some study groups keep expanding and letting anyone who wants to join their group join. And I know this sounds so mean, but I'd say keep a study group at a maximum of 5 to 6 people. And make the hard choices if you need to. You do not want to have leeches in the group, because they just suck the energy out of everyone, and it makes the entire experience just worse for everyone. No leeches in our study groups. When I was in college, actually in my second year, I was in the process of forming the study group that became the one that I stuck with throughout college. And we had one guy who he went to high school with me, and you could just kind of tell that this guy was a leech. He knew that I was, confident academically, so he just asked to join the group. And back then I wasn't very good at being able to say no, so he joined our group for this first class that we were in, and it was such a horrible experience. Like his attitude of not wanting to do any real work just spread amongst the group, and honestly it sucks for everyone. We had to make the hard choice at the end of the quarter. Actually, we just had to tell him, like, hey, our group functions a lot better without you. Like, I wish you the best, but we're gonna need to move on. We kind of got lucky in that there was an easy opportunity for us to do that, because it was a 6-person group with him, and without him it would be 5, and then for one of the class projects we needed just a 5-person group, so we were able to move on from him that way. And ever since, our study group has been rock solid, and it was a blessing to have throughout undergrad. Now, every amazing study group has several key members that fulfill specific roles. So first, you have your group leader. So this is often the person who puts the group together, who signs up the group for the project. They're the one who's the main point of communication with the professor or TA. And this is typically the person who delegates tasks to people. It's a very important job, honestly. Study group without a clear group leader often does not function very well. And when I was in college, I was the group leader for our group. The next person you need is someone who's extremely friendly and who knows anyone, knows everyone, and can talk to the professors. This was so beneficial to have, one socially, because they'll just know anyone, so it's just nice to have. But if there's anything you need from anyone in these large classes, there's a good chance that either this person knows them or this person is not afraid to go get to know them. This ended up being super helpful in college. For example, if there's a problem that only one person in the class of 200 knows how to solve, like, this person will go out and ask that person. And it was such a crucial thing to have this guy. Third person you need in your study group is what I like to call the sweat. And I know it sounds like kind of like a slur, but I don't mean it that way. It just means that, the person who kind of keeps everyone on track. This is the person who typically starts early on all of their assignments, or has already looked at the homework the day that it was assigned, before anyone else did. And this is the person who really gets everyone in track. If one person in the group is starting something early, that energy will spread and everyone else will start getting things done early. It's actually quite amazing how, one person having good habits in these small study groups just spreads to everyone else. So you really want to find people who have these good habits in your study group, especially if you don't have them yourself. And then finally, you always need a guy who's willing to do the dirty work, what I like to call it, the tasks that no one else wants to do. Or if it's a group project, it's that one part of the project that nobody wants to do. Maybe it's the most work, maybe it's the most boring, but you always need someone who's willing to do the dirty work. And these people are invaluable because they know their role, and they're very gracious about it, and they are willing to do it. Oftentimes this might be someone who maybe isn't the most like academically gifted, but they know that they're going to get a good grade by being in this group. And they're willing to contribute in other ways by like doing these boring tasks or something, helping out with the homeworks that are a little bit easier. Um, yeah, you really need someone who's willing to do the dirty work. And with all of these components, you get the Avengers of the study group. Honestly, together, the group is so much greater than the sum of its parts. Um, in my case, individually, the people who made up my study group were probably I don't know. We were all like middle of the pack type of people. Um, we weren't considered to be the smart ones in our program, but we would consistently be the top scoring groups. We would always ace the projects. All of us had, many of us got the Latin honors at the end of our degree. And it's honestly all thanks to the system that we developed by having the ultimate study group. And it's because we had all these roles fulfilled. I think at some points we might have had like multiple people doing one of the roles, but all of the roles were fulfilled, and that's what's important for your study group as well. And also, you got to be consistent. Ideally, this will actually happen on its own. You wouldn't have to do anything. By consistency, I mean you have to meet with your study group regularly. And if you follow my first point and like you choose people who you're going to be friends with, you're already going to be hanging out with them outside of school. So it becomes so much easier when you already are so comfortable and have that rapport with with the people in your study group, that it's going to be, you're already going to be consistent. But if you're not, you need to be consistent. You need to be meeting like once a week, because if your study group is someone that people that you see like once only when there's a project due or something like that, you're going to be very guarded, and everyone's going to be guarded, and like it's not conducive to the best learning and creative environment that you need to succeed in college. Now you know what you need to do to form the ultimate study group and crush your goals. Link in the description for personal coaching.